Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Under Contract Podcast. Back with my boy Fernando Chavira.
I love that.
We've done a couple of these, and this is our, for those of you who don't know Fernando, he's a fellow agent, and we like to get together and just talk about the market and what's going on in our lives, our victories, our struggles, and we've been meaning to get together more often. So why not do it in front of the internet, So yeah, man, 2025. I wanted to start out with a little bit of insight from ChatGPT. And here are some stats on realtors in 2025. So I'll read it verbatim. As of early 2025, the real estate industry is experiencing notable shifts in agent activity and transaction volumes. Realtor departures in December of 2024, the National Association of Realtors reported a significant decline, losing 25,000 members, the largest monthly drop in nearly a year. This reduction brought NAR's total membership to approximately 1.498 million, the lowest since March of 2024. The median number of residential sales per realtor varies based on experience. The overall median is 12 transactions a year. Agents with 16 plus years experience, the median is 12 transactions per year. This is a big one. The agents with 2 years or less experience, the median number of transactions is 2 transactions per year. These figures underscore the impact of the experience on These figures underscore the impact of experience on transaction volume, with seasoned agents typically handling more transactions annually. For a deeper analysis of the factors influencing agent departures and industry dynamics, you might want to find the following video insightful. And it's actually a Ricky Carruth video. But
ChatGPT sent you that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. Ricky's everywhere, dude.
He is.
It's hard, kind of like you hate him because you see him everywhere, but you're like, it's so good.
I mean, he's like the one guy that I ever... From the very beginning when I started, he was also on his come up as far as coaching in 2017. And he was like always the guy where it was like, I know he's not full of crap, because everything he says, he's like, look, this sucks. So like, if you want to sell 100 properties a year, you're going to have to do what sucks for like 5 years.
That's what I realized. And that's probably where I think would be a good way to like spin into it, where a lot of people don't realize like the level of work that it requires to get leads. And first of all, man, like, it's important to find people in the industry, regardless of where you're at in a broker, right? Just like good people like this. I mean, you're not the only person that I talk to that I call. And I mean, I have moments where I'm like, dude, I'm ready to hang this up. Like, what are you seeing? What are you doing? And then you're talking me down off the edge, and then there's been times where you call me and you're like, dude, what are you seeing? It's just like, and then like right now, dude, you got a good wave going, right? Like, or you're coming off of it or whatever, right? And so, and I was calling you like, man, like, what are you doing? What are you seeing? And it just helps, dude, having this support system. One, it lets me know, like, if there's a huge market shift and you're seeing it too, then I know we're on the boat together, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're doing something and you're getting all these deals and you're staying pretty active, it lets me know that I'm not doing work. It lets me know I'm not doing, because there's about 2,000 properties sold, give or take, right? A week, or sorry, in the 7 days on HAR. If you look at it, like when you log in, it says like in the last 7 days, 2,000 properties were sold. And so all we need is like 1 or 2. That's it. And so when I see that, I'm like, okay, I'm not doing something. And so it's hard, dude. And there's no structure for this.
Yeah.
Like it's super, super hard. And I think that's why a lot of people, they have a tough time with it. And I mean, I have friends that call me and they will use me and they're like, man, we were going to go with a friend of ours, but they're not really doing anything with it, And it's just like, man, I don't have another option, dude. Like, I hung up my career to do this. So like, I either lose my house, and everything I worked so hard to get, or I'm going to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'm going to do. But that's just me, man. But
that's one of the Ricky golden rules, is closings will happen every single day till the end of time by the truckloads.
That's where I got that from originally. Was Ricky was like, if you go look at that stuff on, it'll tell you how many deals are there. And so like he's the one that said it is like, doesn't matter. There's always somebody needing to buy or sell or do something.
Last year was, I mean, it was the worst time I've ever had. Like, it was not fun in real estate. I mean, everything, I felt like I was just grinding my tail off for no results. Like everything I did was just for not for nothing, but it was just like you put all your effort and all your energy, and then like this listing just sits or whatever it is. And I like from March to July of last year, I was really questioning like
the state of Blake
has
Baker.
everything I've done up till now just been like luck and what really makes you kind of question it is when you're talking to other people and they're like, oh, I'm having my best year ever. And you're like, okay, well, what's wrong with me? You know, like it really does make you kind of question yourself, your methods.
Yeah, man.
But in about September, I finally caught a break. And then I think I closed 11 deals in October and then into the beginning of November. So it was like, God, like finally I freaking am in like making some money. Like that, watching that bank account just, it's like, I mean, it sucks.
It's part of the game though, right? Like we understand that. And I think this is the stuff that people don't talk about, like in the reality of it. Like I try to share a little bit about that because I don't want people to think that this industry is just easy. Like when I was in operations, my brother told me, it's like, don't be posting all this stuff online with like your feet kicked up or you're watching Netflix, because it gives people from the outside a bad perspective. Yes, we have downtime, but when it comes time to work, people don't see that, you know, like you're not flashing that. So be careful when you do that. Same thing with this. Like I struggle with like boasting because I want to let people know that like, here are my victories. I know what I'm doing. I'm creditable. I have the proof. It shows in the numbers. But then also too, like I don't want to like stroke my own ego with it, you know. So like I fight that, but it's hard, right?
Yeah, but you got to market yourself.
Everybody else markets themselves. Like I have to market, you know. And so all the work you were doing it's like Ricky says, it's delayed. It's like 3 or 4 months delayed work. And
bro,
like,
it could be a year delayed.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
And so like the wave you got right now was probably because of all the work you were putting in when you were feeling like
6 to 12 months ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I had listings that I got in earlier in the year, and then rates kind of blipped down a little bit at that time, and then they sold. I was like, God, like finally. But it really made me realize how important interest rates are. I had never even looked at rates before that, because when I started in 2017, they were like 5.5, 5, like right there, like perfect sweet spot. And then I thought that's just what I didn't know, you know, like, oh, I guess that's what they always are, you know? And then they dipped to COVID rates, 2, 3, 4%. And then that's what sped the market up. And I really didn't even still understand why the market was going so crazy, you know? Then when rates jumped in I guess it was late 22. Was that what it was? 23?
I think it was
middle of 23.
Yeah, probably early 23 maybe.
Yeah.
Because that night, that 20 to 22, I'm having trouble selling those houses. People that bought in 20, like the 20, let's say 19 to 22, that time frame right there.
They want to sell now, and
I'm having trouble because, and from my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the activity around that time frame was like super elevated. It was like home prices were doing this. And what happened, in my opinion, is now they're still going up, but it's more, you know, left to right instead of up and down, horizontal instead of vertical. And so there's not a lot of equity in those homes from 19 to 22 that we can play with.
All right, prices leveled off.
And so I'm having trouble. I mean, I just lost one. We just terminated one. It's been on the market for about 6-7 months. And she finally was like, how long are we going to put this on the market, leave this on the market? And I was like, we both know we can't come down on the price anymore. Like, that's the only thing. Your neighbor's house next door that's 10 grand less than yours isn't getting any activity either.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think your house is nicer, honestly. But
I'm in that same situation right now with one.
And she was just like, can we just wait and put it back on in summer? I was like, yeah, we got 2-3 months till then. Like, take a break. Like we can stop and reset. And so I got to go pick up the signs today. And that's a tough conversation to have, man, because you want to do a good job, but sometimes you just can't. Like it just doesn't work in your favor. Do you feel like that 2-3%? What's your opinion on that little swing in that moment where we had those rates at 2-3%? Do you feel like that helped the industry or that helped individuals?
It helped individuals. I mean, if you were a homeowner already, your equity skyrocketed because prices went up. You could refinance your mortgage and get, I mean, you're literally robbing the bank with no mask at 2%. I mean, my financial advisor, so I have a 3.2, and he goes, never pay that house off early. I was like, why not? He goes, dude, put the money in anything else, and you're going to make a greater return than what your interest rate is. So you win there. Plus your interest on your home is tax deductible. So I'm like, okay. And then another thing, I used to put extra money towards principal every month, and I figured out really quick that that's a good strategy if you have like a 7% rate, but at a 3.2% rate, it's
not the most efficient way to spend money.
Like, so half of my mortgage is taxes and insurance. The other half is the principal and interest payment. So say I pay my house off and I have no mortgage payment, I still have half of that payment because of taxes and insurance. So I'm like, it's really not worth it.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, dude, cheap debt like that is a weapon. Because he used to tell me back then, whenever rates were where they were, he was like, I'm trying to get as much cheap debt as I possibly can get. And like in my head, that's so backwards compared to how I was raised. Debt's bad and pay cash if you can. And it's just, but now I'm starting to kind of understand it. And then he also told me that since inflation was so high from 2020 till now I'm paying the bank back negative interest because the money I'm paying them with has inflated 9-10%. The interest rate that they locked me in at is 3.2. So they're losing money on me.
Yeah, that dollar value when they did that loan is not the same price that the dollar value is right now. So yeah. Yesterday prices is not today prices.
Dude, yeah, finances is it's definitely like a levels thing. Like if you have a conversation with somebody who really understands it, you'll be like, "Oh, wow, like I've never thought of that."
I realize more in this industry how obviously the gate or like the, what do they call it? Like the gateway is real estate, but it's opened my mind and mentality to just different things I didn't know about, like that, that people play and leverage in this game. Like there really is, this is like really, really similar to Monopoly. Like people really, really use real estate as a tool to just further advance in life.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. And the more and more I see it, the more and more I learn, like, I'm like, wow, like, whoa, what is going on here? Like I have been surprised at the amount of business that I see, with people come in with cash offers, like close to $1 million, like properties. I mean, I've got one that I've done two properties close to $1 million. They were like almost 9. One's 8, 7. The other one was like a little 875, 840. But those there, man, these people have cash. I'm like, whoa, pause. Like
COVID. They got cash from COVID, man.
Yeah.
Like people got so rich during COVID.
I don't think people understand. I think people get really surface level in when these things like that happen. I started to see the trend. Like when they say like when there's blood in the streets, it's the best time to go make money. And it's sad, but the reality of it is when there is these type of, pandemic style deals or big activity stuff happens in the stock market and all that, there is a level of players that know how to work that system.
Oh, they 100% know.
And that's the more that I see it. And I'm just like, man, there's all those sayings that I used to hear growing up that I didn't understand now are like, oh, that makes sense.
Well, now that you've seen it, like when you don't ever see it, you don't get it.
That. Yeah, we didn't grow up like that.
We grew up in an economic boom until 2008. Then we were still kind of too young to even realize what was going on. I didn't know what 08.
It wasn't a priority to me, dude. I was busy having fun being a knucklehead,
I was 17.
Yeah.
But the thing about those low interest rates, look, if we had a crystal ball I don't think that was a good move overall, because like you said, the people that know how to work the system, whenever rates drop to 2%, your big corporations, your huge companies, they borrowed all the money they could possibly borrow and sucked money out of the system up and then took it to the top of the system. So like whereas your normal everyday person, they're going to work every day. They don't even think twice about, we need to go borrow money because it's so cheap. Like they're like, oh, borrow money. What? For what? For the business or personal stuff or whatever it is, or refinancing the house. Most people just like, it wasn't even a thought to them.
I think it's hard because a lot of people are just busy surviving.
That's so it.
We're trying to just make it by, that we just don't have any extra leisure or any extra time or energy to really devote ourselves to these type of games, this type of strategy.
And once you get rich, then you can delegate stuff. And then that's when you have time to like look at these things and think about these things and have people on your team that tell you like, hey, like this is, your advisor. This is his whole job to tell you, hey, this happened. We need to jump in over here. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Like that's like, I feel like rich people just have a person for everything.
Systems, and they have like they're
life is all about people. If you have a person for everything in your life, it makes everything, rather than trying to do it yourself. Oh my God.
That's hard for me to do, like even relying on a TC, because I want to be involved in everything. But the more and more, like I said, I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm studying and I'm doing all this, I'm realizing the importance of being able to put people in place that are better at things than I am, right? Like my TC loves being at home, working on the computer. Like I imagine she's like in a basement, dark, just like doing all like the clerical work, whatever it is. And I'm not. Like I'm the guy that needs to be out in the front line, talking to people, doing all that. And it's definitely an eye-opening, interesting game. And this is why, like, back to having the support systems and the relationships with people in the industry, in my opinion, is super important, man. Because, it is working together. It's finding the right people to work together that you can lean on, that you can call. The entire backbone of my system has been built on other people that, like, I just lean on. I'm calling agents that have ton more experience. Even sometimes, dude, the agents that I'm working with, I ask them for advice, like afterwards I follow up and I'm like, hey, thank you. Like, I didn't know that, I learned this in this transaction. So like, I appreciate you, man. And it's the more and more I realize there's a lot of good people in this industry, man.
For sure.
There is a lot of good people in this industry.
I've never made a phone call where I asked for help or asked for insight and they were like an ass to me.
Yeah. Like
everyone generally wants to help. Like I made a call yesterday, actually. I have this property. It's like a seller who doesn't want to list, but he's like, if you find somebody, I'll sell. And it's a commercial, a big commercial piece of land. So I called this agent that I know in that area who sells around that area, commercial guy. And I've seen him a lot, but I've never talked to him. So I just called him up and dude, so nice, like super helpful. And, you get that kind of like, especially in commercial, you think people are going to be like rude for whatever reason, but they're not. Like everybody's usually pretty cool.
I think just because similar situation, I called somebody recently just to try to do some marketing stuff. And it's a house that's like a little over $1 million right on the water. And I was like, hey, I'm working on some marketing stuff. I want to just try to tap into a little bit of this. Are you okay with me coming in and shooting some video of the house? It's vacant. It looked vacant. If it's okay. She was like, yes and no. And I was like, okay, like, give me the no. And then tell me yes. She's like, client's very private. So I would need to be present. Unfortunately, I'm going out of town this week. Get with me Monday. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so she was like, we'll do it Monday. And I was like, I'll work with you and shoot you some stuff if you want. She's like, I'd rather not be on camera. And I'm like, okay, perfect. And so it's just awesome. Like same thing. The another one that I just did recently, that one happened to be a broker open house. And the guy was like, just come out and shoot it here while we're here. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so more and more people, we all kind of want the same thing, man. And I even asked that lady when I talk to people, I'm like, what are you seeing in the market? And they all tell me it's weird. They're like, it's a weird time. There's no trend that I can tell you like,
no.
Oh, this was back like this.
There's no rhyme or reason to stuff.
No. And so again, me being at home in my head, trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong, how do I take my business to the next level? It is a little refreshing hearing that other agents in that price point, at that magnitude, with that much more experience, are also seeing the same things. It lets me breathe and know that, like, okay, I'm not, dealing with this just by myself.
But I mean, like, based on my experience, there was a couple deals I've had in the last 6 months where, like, I'd get the listing, and there was this one specific house in Deer Park that, dude, I had it sold, and we got past option and everything, and the buyer got laid off. That's the first time I've ever had that happen. It's crazy. Oh, excuse me. But then we resold it. But we had to put it on the market, pull it off, put it back on, pull it back off. At the listing appointment, I was like, man, this thing it's a perfect starter home. Like, it's a big 3.2, like 2,300 square feet, 3.2, like that's big, yeah. Big, yeah. And I'm like, oh, this thing ought to fly. Sat. And I'm like, all my instincts as to what will sell and what won't sell just were out the window. And he's like, man, I just don't get it. I'm like, brother, I don't get it either. It's insane. And then you'll get some, something that you think will sit, and it just goes. Dude, I had one at the beginning of last year that was it's the best case of, like, you never know. It was a house over in Pasadena on Fox Meadow, and it was, the word fixer-upper doesn't even begin to describe it. I mean, it was like, I was like, and the price he wanted to ask, I was like, there's no way. Well, he was offering owner financing, so got a showing.
Oh, I remember this one.
And, dude, sold it owner finance. And the guy was just, like, down to work on it and fix it up. And I actually need to drive by there. I haven't seen it since, but I was just like, okay, yeah, I guess you really do never know.
No, you don't, man. And that's something that I realized too. I've had to learn to, like, disconnect myself from a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, because I sometimes, like, well, I wouldn't do that, or no, there's no way. Like, just looking at the market, it's not possible. Like, I forget that there's if somebody told me, like, a car salesman, like, there's an ass for every seat.
It takes the right buyer.
Yeah, it just takes the right buyer. Like, there's no bad product. And somebody says, like, I don't know who said this. I think it was that Ryan Serhan dude. Like, there's no bad product, only bad price. And so, like, there's a certain price that someone's willing to pay for.
It's always the price.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to just be, like, smug about it, why do you think the house isn't selling? It's the price.
The price, yeah. Yeah.
Anything will sell for the right price.
I got a question for you, man. Now that you have, how long you been doing this?
This is my 9th year.
Is there one thing for you in particular that, like, you can pinpoint, like, where all your leads come from?
That's a complicated question. Mainly, so this is what I tell people. I trace it back to me growing up in several different areas. So, I went to school at Pasadena First Baptist over off of Fairmont and Red Bluff. So I was at that end of Pasadena from a very young age, from 3rd grade on. I was raised on Allen Genoa, which is over near South Houston. So I played all my sports and hung out with that group of friends in South Houston. So I know all them from over there. So I'm like, that group, this group. And as I got older and got my driver's license, I started hanging out with kids who went to Deer Park. So then I had that group of people. And then also, like, Pasadena Memorial, I already kind of knew all them from baseball. And then I kind of started hanging out with those people. And then as I got into my 20s and started, like, going out more pre-real estate, before I ever got into real estate, I started meeting more, like, League City, Clear Creek people. So I met that group of people. So I've always kind of had different social circles. And then once I got into real estate, I was already friends with all these people on Facebook and Instagram or whatever. And I pretty much quit posting personal stuff, like, for all intents and purposes. I'll do it every now and then, but 90% of the stuff I post is real estate related. So from that point on, all they all saw out of me was real estate. So years of that compounds. You start to get referrals from those people. I mean, it's funny that referrals are a funny thing, because you'll get referrals from, like, people you barely know. Like, just because, like, you're friends with them on Facebook, like, they'll be like, oh, so-and-so gave me your number. And it's like, oh, I haven't talked to that person. And
doesn't that make you feel good, though? Like,
yeah, it
people
does.
are actively watching.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, so people are
This
watching.
works. Yeah.
I just got a referral from a friend that I haven't seen. He joined the military after high school, and I haven't seen him, dude, in a long 15 years. I haven't, you know, it's like you're friends with him on Facebook, but you haven't seen him in forever. He sent his sister, and I'm like, dang, okay. So that plus now that I'm doing the Instagram, I figured out kind of how to get traction on Instagram.
I was going to ask you your niche.
Yeah. So I figured that out, and I've closed one deal, just a girl that was like, hey, we're looking in that area. We're from Jersey Village. We don't really know the area. Can you help us? So I closed them. And then I've gotten, yesterday I had a girl message me they're thinking about selling and buying new construction. So mainly I would say social media. I mean, I've tried cold calling. I hate it. It's totally not I feel so like a duck out of water when I'm doing it. I hate it.
But it works. I will say cold calling, it's a numbers game. It works.
It's not the problem I have with it.
It's not sexy.
No, the problem I have with it is it's not scalable.
Yeah.
So like with Instagram, I can post a video and get 50,000 views in a week.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's Reliant Stadium full of people.
Yeah.
Cold calling, you're just rolling the dice hoping that you're going to pick you're going to get someone that's receptive. B, you're going to get someone that has just been thinking about selling. Now, let me preface this. Circle prospecting is different than expired listings.
Break down circle prospecting.
I have a listing. I just call all the houses around there. Hey, this is Blake Baker with eXp Realty. I have a listing in your neighborhood. It's
where you already have active activity.
Right.
Business.
I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I just wanted to see if there's anything I could do for you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, no, yeah. And I mean, I've gotten email addresses and I've started conversations. And one thing I will say is you'll come across people that you know, and you're like, oh, I didn't know they lived in that neighborhood. So there's this girl that I was calling around Morgan's Landing in LaPorte, and I saw her name pop up, and I'm like, holy crap, I haven't seen her since high school, you know, just like somebody that used to just be in like the same Deer Park social circle. And she answered, I'm like, hey, so-and-so. And she's like, yeah. I was like, hey, this is really weird, but this is Blake Baker. I don't know if you remember me or not. She was like, I saw your name pop up and I was wondering if it was really, how are you? And it started this whole conversation about how, you know, they live there, they love it, but they might move in a little, you know, couple years. So I grabbed her email and she gets my weekly email now. So there are instances like that. But Andrew Franklin on my EXP upline, he said something that was like, kind of was like rang,
So
like
Ricky
resonate.
Ricky Caruth stuff?
No, actually, it was the quite opposite. Ricky would tell you to just dial 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
But he was like, look, he told me, he was like, I've never cold called. I can't imagine ever doing it. And here's the thing. If you hate something, you can do it for a little while, but it's going to like peter out.
Yeah.
If you just loathe doing something, like you're better off doing something you enjoy. And so the map videos, I love history. I love our area, i.e. I love the history of our area. I enjoy doing the videos. I enjoy the feedback I get from the videos. People literally message me, hey bro, like I love your videos. Keep doing it. I really appreciate this. You know, my grandpa lived in this neighborhood that you posted, and it's just really cool to see how the area, it's cool.
I'll go look at some of them, like the ones that I find interesting, and you know, always like looking and seeing, and I'll see that, dude. Congratulations, bro. Like that's super dope to
not that it matters, but for me, it's like I'm creeping up on 10K.
Hey, it matters.
I spent freaking.
It matters.
I spent 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 8.5 years trying to figure out how to grow my following. I tried we've all tried everything.
Yeah.
Talking to the camera. Here's your top 3 home buyer tips for purchasing a new home. Yeah, get an inspection. It's like, okay, that didn't work. The one thing I will say with those videos is it did help me with the people that I think I told you this. It helped me with the people I already know because they already know me. But to get traction, you have to find a niche. So like how the videos started was I was messing around on Google Earth just because I enjoy messing around on Google Earth. So I was going on the history time lapse, and I went to the Galleria and put it back to 1944, and it was a freaking hayfield. I'm like, holy crap! So like it's like literally a hayfield, and then bam, 610 and Westheimer. Yeah. It was like, oh. So I posted it, and it immediately just caught traction, and it went up to like 600 and something thousand views.
You've accelerated really fast over the last like 2-3 months on social media.
It's because of that. Yeah. I mean, I just finally, after 8 years of just posting different things, trying different things, I just threw something at the wall and it stuck. So I was like, okay, this resonates with people for some reason. Dude, I've gotten...
and you've gotten business from it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I closed a young couple from Jersey Village who saw my video on that Superfund site in it's in Houston technically, but right there by San Jack South.
Yeah.
They're like, we want to avoid that area. Yeah. Can you tell us where to avoid that?
Farm,
yeah. I was like, yes, I can tell you. Closed them, dude. So, but I've gotten like D'Angelo Ross from the Texans followed me. Eric Rowe, who's the 2-time Super Bowl champ with I think he won with the Buccaneers.
The name sounds familiar.
He's been like, he doesn't follow me, but he's liked a couple of my videos. Max Mitchell, a offensive lineman from the New York Jets, follows me. Like, it's like, holy crap. Like, it's pretty cool, you know? A goalkeeper from the Dynamo followed me.
I saw Mr. Rogers.
DJ Mr. Rogers. Yeah. Dude, it's pretty cool. It's like, okay, so it does make you feel good that after all this time, I found something where it's like, I can now getting business from social media is like attainable.
Yeah.
Because before it was like, oh, how many deals do you close from social media? It's like, I can't put like a number on it because it's like people I already kind of knew. So,
but not now, I think, which is great because now that's like a source of like lead generating.
100%.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's sexy. It's not standard, boring, random crap. Like, so dope, dude. That's cool. At what point, how have you tried to monetize that, or to where you can get a little bit of kickback from?
Dude, I need to get better at all that. Yeah. I'm bad about. I just post and ghost kind of.
Which is good because you don't want to lose the fun of it because you enjoy doing it, right? And so once you start to kind of make it a job, I feel like you kind of lose a little bit of the joy you get from it, and it becomes, a work.
It's crazy how the algorithm has changed too. Like I've tried, used to I would post every day, every single day, and now it doesn't reward that.
No, it's so different. It's weird.
I'll post 2 videos a week, and they'll just keep rolling, dude. It's crazy. And if you one other thing I've noticed, if you have a video that's rolling, like getting engagement, let it ride. Don't post another one until you see a drop off, and then post another one. 'Cause I don't know what it is, but it'll like interrupt it, and then you'll
lose it.
You won't do as well.
Yeah, I've got one like the one that I did. I'm trying to do something different on mine, and so I want to sell the area, right? I love I'm single, 34, whatever. Like I'm out in the scene. I'm out eating in that area. Like I don't really have much to do at the house, right? Other than just work. So like me getting out of the house and going out and enjoying the area, like I love that, right? And so I want other people to enjoy it too. And I don't think a lot of people, in my opinion, are actively marketing that little pocket of where I live, like the Kemah, Clear Lake Shores. Like we know about it because we're locals. But I don't think like really people are bringing a lot of attention into it. And so I'm trying to do that. But I went in, I looked at that house, that 5.2 mil, and the very one entry video that I did where you see the outside of it, dude, that one's been taken off. And it's so weird because like I posted it like 2-3 days ago.
Is that the one on Shoreline?
Twin Oaks.
Twin Oaks.
Something. Yeah.
Is it?
It's the 5.2. It's been on for a while.
It's been on. Is it who's the listing agent?
Xavier Alonso or something like that.
Did it get it was with another agent, and then
I believe so.
Yeah. And it's like white.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Green roof.
Yeah, it's like a teal green roof. It's been on for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. It's like that level of like magnitude budget wise, like most of those people, that's not their like primary residence. that's like a next level of playing where those people are like, we don't need to sell unless we get what we want for it. Like, it's a whole different ball game, man. But that's kind of something what I want to try to do is just more sell that lifestyle. Like, here's some of the restaurants, here's some of the houses, because I feel like with everything that's happening and the very generic, repetitive stuff that we're seeing, with the exception of like what you're doing with like the history of the area, every other real estate agent posts the same thing. We're like catering to each other, and it's so annoying and it's so frustrating. Even all these events that I go to, it's just like, man, there's nothing sexy about this event. Like, it's repetitive. And this is why we're not getting any business, because we're all dull.
Real estate events can be the biggest wastes of time. I've seen so many, and I'm not trying to badmouth anybody, but I've seen so many realtors that
don't produce.
They don't produce, but they're at every event, every Top Golf mixer, and every class.
Very influencer style. They sell it very well online.
But I'm like, one thing I noticed really early is that the people who sell a lot of real estate, they hardly ever go to that stuff. Like, some of them do, but there's one lady in particular at my old office who she was never at hardly anything. And I'm like, why? Because she's too busy.
That's what I asked somebody. I was like, what's the
I just sounded like Luke Belmore. Why? She's too busy. Yeah. I was with Tristan Tate and we were drinking.
Yeah.
It was crazy. We were drinking.
Man, there was I had went to one recently and I asked him, I was like, what's the point of these events? Like, if we're all doing the same industry and we're all fighting for the same leads, why are we here? And somebody was like, it's to meet your competition.
Well, in commercial, it's great because you can network in commercial, and like commercial has a lot more like off market and pocket listings. And if you can market with big commercial agents, if you get a property, you send them the flyer. Like, hey, because there's not as many of them.
Yeah.
There's so many residential realtors. So I always wonder the same thing. I'm like, what? Like, why are we here? Like, with a bunch of other realtors, I don't know. I
don't understand it.
It is good to know realtors around the area. Like, I don't know as many around here, but because I'm from Pasadena and I worked in a big office over there for so long, I know any agent that does any sort of business in that area, I know them on a first name basis.
Well, that's the thing.
And it helps. It does help.
Well, and you're right. But and so there's two ways to meet other agents. Would you intentionally, and I don't mean to downplay anybody by any means, right? But would you intentionally go and meet like the 13th round draft pick? Like, not really, right? Like, you want to go meet like the first round or your all-stars, right? Yeah. So what I've realized is the time and energy and most efficient way to meet more agents is to produce more.
Do more deals. You do that. And that's the other thing,
and you meet the right agents too, right. The ones that are producing.
And the more you do, you're going to run into the realtors that do more.
Same repetitive people.
The same people. Yeah. And, like I just put a house under contract yesterday where I know the other realtor because she's a broker of another brokerage there in Pasadena. And I've known her for that reason. Talked to her before several times. And then her lender, the pre-approval lender with the buyers, is my mom's best friend's son, who I've known him since he was in pre-K. So I was like, dude, when you have that familiarity,
it's so beautiful.
And I was telling my seller, I'm like, man, like, it really helps that I know this this lender, like, I know him. I've known him his whole life.
I did a deal. I was the buyer's agent on a property. One of my biggest ones was that ranch deal. And I worked with this gentleman from this broker. Well, then I had my little ranch deal on the market, and I had a rep from another agent from his same broker, and she called me and she put an offer in. We did all this other stuff, and it was a 50-50, right? Like, you just don't really know. And so when I asked for proof of funds, they're like, man, it's cash. It's coming out of these accounts. We have to liquidate them, but here's like the available screenshots of everything. And I'm very weary on that just because, like, it's just yes and no. I mean, just because people fake documents and all this other stuff all the time. So I called that agent, and that agent actually, when I worked with him, he was probably the main reason why that deal lasted. He was like, whoa, pause. Let me get my lender involved and see if we can help. And we actually did. He saved that deal. And so learning opportunity for me is don't just shut down, lean on resources that other people may have, and you might be able to make something happen. And so I called him And I was like, hey, there's this agent from your broker. If they presented this to you and the proof of funds, whatever, here's their name, like, what would you do? He was like, if this agent brought anything to my desk, I wouldn't question it. And I was like, oh, okay. Well,
there you go.
Yeah, I was like, thank you. Because he was honest with me. He was straight up with me. I still had a little bit of, proof of funds, right? I didn't have it like ideally how I wanted it, but we were able to get that deal. It fell through because they were asking for way too much from us, and we just said we were just not going to budge. But ultimately, like, yeah, man, it's cool building those relationships with those people, man. And so it's a beautiful game, man. It's exhausting, it's frustrating, it's a roller coaster of emotions. But I couldn't see myself doing anything else now.
Yeah, there are times. The big change for me was when I had my son. Because
I was going to ask you that.
When I was, especially when I was single, no kids, yeah, I could answer the phone at any given moment. And you could just hop in the truck and go show a property at any given moment. Then, got with Kelsey, then we get married. Then it's like, okay, I have to prioritize her as well. And then now that the baby's here, you really feel spread thin because it's like, man, you've been working all day, every day, Monday through Saturday. And then like Sunday comes and you're like, okay, I'm going to spend Sunday with my family. And then
the phone's ringing.
Dude, well then you'll get a buyer that's like, hey, can we look at this house Sunday? It was a specific situation. This literally happened. It was like they needed to look at it that day because they were going out of town that night. And if they couldn't look at it that day, they weren't going to be able to look at it
for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So it's like a messed up situation where it's like,
dude, call me for those things, man. I'm pretty flexible. Like if you ever I tell you all the time, like, dude, just reach out. Like I'm not one of those agents where I'm going to be like, hey, call me if it doesn't work out for it. It's just, you don't win like that.
But I'm already thinking like, man, as Eli gets older, and he has like, sports and stuff like that, it's going to get to a point to where I know it's coming, that there's going to be a moment where I have to pick between being there for him and like a work situation that's like heavy. So we'll figure it out. I don't know.
Just pick up the phone, bro. Fernando, I need a solid. It's off business and all that, man. What's that experience like, transition into really just becoming a father, man? What's that like?
You're juggling. I mean, she stays home with them all day, so he's at that age, he's 11 months old, so he's at that age where he's crawling, getting into everything. You can't just chill. Like if he's in the room, you got to be paying attention, or he's hungry, or he's such a mama's boy, like he always wants to be by her side. So it's taxing on her. Then I'm at, if I'm out working all day, I'll get home. And typically when I get home, I'll have a handful of things I need to do to finish my day off. And so then like I'm in the office working and she's like starting dinner, and, you get to that point to where you almost feel guilty for like trying to wrap up those things. So then you're juggling that kind of mix of emotions. Like I want to be a present father, but I also got to get this done. I got to get this done. So it's tough, man. Straight up. I mean, there's not like an easy answer. It's not like I work, some people tried to say like, I have business hours. Okay. I've tried that. Yeah. It don't work like that. But that being said, I also have to be thankful that sometimes at 11 a.m. or noon or 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, I can be home and be there. If I have like a lag in my day, I can just like come home and hang out with them or eat lunch with them or, that stuff. So
it helps having her, that she has a little bit of taste of what the industry was like.
She's very understanding because she knows if you have someone that just has always worked a 9 to 5, they're not going to get it. Probably. They probably won't understand. They just think like, and I tell her explicitly, hey, I know that I'm very busy right now and like I'm doing my best to kind of like be there. I know I'm not doing the best job at it. It makes me feel bad. Just know it like makes me feel not good. So just know I'm doing my best. And I feel like as long as I tell her that explicitly, she's a little more understand. And she's already the most understanding person ever. Like, I don't even know why I tell her that. Like, I probably don't need to, but it makes me feel better to let her know that I understand that I could be doing better at this, but it makes me feel bad, but I have to get these things done. Like, it's just part of being an agent that makes money.
Yeah.
You know, if I was here all day, every day, hey, honey, what do you want to do today?
We ain't bringing in no cash.
No. I jokingly told her, I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard this. During World War II, you know, all the guys signed up for the military to go fight. And, you know, a lot of them were drafted. And that's why I don't know if this story's true or not, because if you were drafted, you have to go. Well, there was
I think I know where you're going.
It was like a guy that was like, I'm going to go fight. And the wife was like, no, like all the wives were like, no, don't go. And they were like, I got to go. And they went. But one guy was like, okay, I'll stay here with you, honey. And then like 3 weeks later, she like left him because
he was out playing around or what with all the,
because he didn't go like, it's like they would beg the guy to not go fight, but it's like such a masculine thing to go be protective of our country that it was like,
it didn't work in his favor.
Right.
I think there's something.
So like that's why I told her, I was like, imagine I'm here all day, every day, just like, what are we doing? You would be so annoyed at me after a while. You'd be like, why are you not like going out, like getting anything done?
I think if your biggest problem is turning it down, I think you're in a good spot. I think just the fact that one, you're driven, you're hungry, you want to obviously be a provider. You got to take care of everything that comes with, you know, the dynamics of a family, roof over their head, all those other things, right? Being fortunate to be in a position where she can be home, she can be present. And so that does come with the cost. And to have someone like her understanding and then you guys just kind of working through it together as a team, man, it's a season, dude. And like in this season right now, I mean, the wave of busyness that you just had, like that's a blessing, right? Like, and the fact that you feel that gut feeling and you're able to kind of let her know, like, hey, I know right now, like, it's a lot right now, but got to get it while it's good, you know? And so I think that's it, man. I think, again, if your worst quality is not being able to spend too much time with them because of the growth that's happening, I watch your stuff. I see you guys out. I see you guys enjoying it and doing all that, man. It's I don't know, right? Because I don't have them, but I feel like you do a good job of balancing family life and then work life too, man. So don't beat yourself up.
I mean, all I can do is all I can do. I do my best.
Have you ever thought about kind of maybe adding somebody to your team in a sense to kind of help a little bit? Like, is that even something that's, you know, you'd like to do down the road?
For sure. Yeah.
Where do you find these unicorn of the perfect person to?
Well, I learned how not to hire in 2023. I don't know if I've told you that story before, but yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't know that I want to do like a big team, but I think for me, when I get to that point, having an executive, like a person who is licensed that I can lean on to be an assistant as far as like back end stuff, and then also show property if needed. That's where that'd be my ideal person. Yeah,
for like, you know, work event. I mean, like school events or sports and all that stuff.
And someone who's already been in the business. I'm not interested in training and like hand holding per se. Maybe I don't know. I say that maybe I'd enjoy it if I actually did it, but that just doesn't sound very fun.
How do you scale your business now? I mean, we were just talking about it a little bit off camera, and that's kind of something where I feel like I'm in the season right now where I have a little bit of business, right? And I'm thankful for it, but also I'm trying to work on scaling it. Is there a system or a thing you have in place that you're working towards? I mean, you found your niche, right? And so that's another source of it, but can you 100% rely on that particular thing there?
Scaling is a funny one because like you can scale quickly, but it's going to come at a cost. So like I've seen realtors spend thousands of dollars a month on Zillow and stuff. And yeah, they do business, but like how much of that is going to be repeat? You know, how much of that was profit? How did you work your fingers to the bone for like not that much profit on what it costs you to get those leads versus what turned over? Scaling, I think quality scaling just takes time. You know, I rode the market up and I felt like I was in a pretty good position. And then the market tanked last year and it was tough for everybody. And then now that we're in kind of a rebound, it's kind of making me more confident that, hey, you know, I've leveraged my network in a good way. And then over time, more and more people just become aware of you organically. If you're closing deals, your name is going to grow. I mean, if you're continually doing business, and then other avenues like social media, it can't help but grow. You know, it's like watering a plant with the right water and sunlight, aka closing deals, making sure people know your name.
It's a huge popularity contest.
And there's not just one way to do it. You know, there's all kinds of different ways to do it. A lot of people are phone people. You know, I do my email that, you know, that's my kind of passive, like if we just kind of met and I got your email address, you're in there and you get my emails.
Have you seen a benefit or like a return in that?
I'll get
or
my
the goal. The goal's consistency to stay in their ear, or
consistency. I have a couple people in there that have like reached back out to me like, hey, I got your email about this. Can you tell me about this? Or, hey, I'm thinking about selling. Can you run a CMA? And then like maybe it turns into something, maybe it doesn't.
But it goes back to that thing, like when you see somebody you haven't talked to and they're like, yeah, I see your stuff. Or like you get that referral from someone that you didn't like think they would watch. I ran into somebody I had on Facebook forever. They never really like any of my stuff. They're just kind of there. Just I don't see them too active, you know. And then I ran into them in person and I was like, hey, and they're like, hey, how's it going? And you know, I was like, hey, how are you on? They're like, good. And they're like, how's real estate? And I'm like, oh, you watch, right? Like you're actually actively watching. And so it's cool. Yeah, the email, I was curious to see if it was just like a stay consistent type of thing.
Yeah. I've dropped it back to about once a month, but, yeah, it's just like a way where if I don't have their social media, they still get my email and they see what I'm doing. You know, I post my closings, I post interest rate news or whatever. So.
Are you seeing a big issue with insurance right now on your deals? Is that like a hot topic? I've seen it a little bit just with premiums going up a little bit. Are you also seeing that?
Not really. I've been selling a lot more new construction. It hasn't really, I haven't like had a deal where it was like, oh, this is an issue. Hopefully this doesn't kill the deal. That hasn't happened, lately to me. That was more of a deal a couple years ago. I had a house in El Lago that just wouldn't sell because the insurance was $1,000 a month. Yeah. I mean, crazy. I don't know how they'll ever sell it. You know,
is it still on?
No, they just decided to stay there.
Oh shit. What are you seeing going into this year? Is there any particular trends you're following? Is there any concerns that you have? Inventory maybe? The growth of Houston happening so much?
It's turning into almost a buyer's market right now. I think we're actually doing fewer transactions now than we were this time last year. I think rates are going to have to come down based off of, you know, the tariff stuff. The stock market's kind of in a funk right now. I don't know how they keep rates as high as they've been. I think if we can see rates in the low sixes or if they touch 5, will be great.
I think because a lot of people are still spending, man. I think they're looking at that like consumer report index deal or whatever it is, and they're just seeing that we're just still spending money.
We are, but the problem is credit card debt is like that's out of control.
There's not a lot coming back in, right? We're spending it, but there's not a lot coming in.
Crazy. Your average, the average, the total amount of credit card debt in this country is insane. It's like a real problem.
What's a big issue that you're seeing when it comes to first time home buyers? I got a lot of people that want to do something and then, you know, we run their stuff or we get them going and they've got like these $1,000 truck notes and they've got like this.
Yeah. Typical young person stuff, crazy vehicle payments, bad credit, stuff on their credit that just being young and dumb.
Didn't need to be there.
Them being uninformed or being like nervous and letting their fear of what they don't know like kind of lead the way. was talking to a young couple on a listing of mine, and dude, they were asking these questions like, so is the square footage, like, is that everything, or is it the garage too, or is it not? Like, how do we know that that's the real square footage? I'm like, it's on the appraisal district, it's from when they built the house. Okay, well, we want to get it inspected before the contract. Can't do that, That's why you have an option period. If, during the first 10 days of the contract, if you get an inspection and you aren't comfortable, you can back out. Well, and then every question I could just tell was because they were just so nervous, and I tried to I'm usually pretty good at like calming people down. Like, hey, like I do this daily. Like, this is nothing to be worried about. But to them, from their perspective,
the end of the world.
It's huge. It's the biggest investment they've ever made. So you have to see it through their lens. But I find that if I'm a first-time home buyer, I get a realtor that's experienced, that you connect with, like on a personal level, that you're comfortable with, and that can guide you to where you don't have to worry about these things. Like, the right realtor will just make it an easy experience for you.
That's been key for me, man. I think I look more at like, it's a lot of psychology, I feel.
You are so a therapist as a realtor.
It's a lot of like calming them down, leveraging the right tone, choosing the right words, reassuring them, making them feel comfortable. I mean, it's a very, I actually like have thought about going and studying like psychology.
I love psychology.
It's interesting.
So like one of the things one of the things I'll say with a client is they'll, word vomit just this big, whatever they say, and I'll take it and I'll distill it down, and I'll say to them, okay, so what I'm hearing is this, and this. And what it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but your goal here is this. I'll be like, yeah. It's like, okay, so now we have a
motive or
a course of action to take based off of what you're telling me. So what I'm hearing is, yes, okay. So, yeah, I mean, because it is like a stressful thing for people.
It is super stressful, man, and that's why I honestly think one of the reasons why it's been really easy, not easy, but it's been, I've had the success that I have is obviously the work that I've been putting in, but also too, I think I'm just naturally good at that.
You're likable. Yeah. Being likable can go so far.
Yeah, I think that's what's opened more doors for me, and I just genuinely have like a thing that like I just kind of want to help people. Like I think I remember like especially like when I have the ability to do that and I know how to do that and I've been here before. Why the hell are you stressing? Like, dude, let me take this on. Like I had one of the last transactions I had. The guy tried to piece together things in his manner, and it was a couple other deals, and I wasn't involved in the other deals, and I was just selling his house. And I almost think he did it just because he started with me, felt bad, but his mom started over there. So he was like, I'm going to use you just because you were a referral through somebody else. And he was like, I should have just used you for all three deals. And I'm like, I mean, financially, that would have been really nice. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it. You did what you thought was best with what you had, and that's okay. And I even helped him on some of the other stuff on the other deals just because I just, at the end of it all, he was like, I don't know how you're not like, you're just whatever about it. I'm like, dude, there's always something that can be done, right? And there's nothing worth stressing over.
No, the way the contract is set up,
yeah,
dude, it's like there's always something that can be done unless you're just being unreasonable. Like, okay, yeah, if you back out the day before closing, yeah, you're losing your earnest money.
Yeah. And so, and that's it, man. It's getting the fundamentals of the things that can go wrong, right? Like setting those up, putting those protections in place, and then the rest of it, you can negotiate it all. I mean, there's been times where I don't put certain, non-realty, whatever things in there, and then they end up wanting them, and we just renegotiate it. We're just like, hey, can we?
It always works out.
Yeah, it always works out, man. And so, and if I got to make it right, I'll do whatever I need to do to make it right. Like, I'm just. It's really easy to just stand out in this business when you genuinely care about people.
That's it.
That's it. And I know that's so cliche to say, and it's so annoying to say, but you'll know when you meet somebody and you talk to somebody, you get the vibe. I mean, we've all dealt with car salesmen. We've all dealt with hungry shark salespeople. We know what that commission breath smells like. Yeah, we know what it's like.
Commission breath.
Dude, it's wild, man.
That's funny.
What are your biggest goals for this year? Is there anything in particular you want to knock out of the park? You've already in the last month surpassed everything I did last year. So
I've done half of what I did last year already this year. Yeah. So I mean,
pause, dude. Think about what you just said.
Yeah, it feels good. It's like, okay, finally, like I feel like the work I did was worth it. Yeah, it took a year, but my goal this year is to get back on my normal grind, and then I really want to move into like other passive income. Like I would really like to buy a commercial property to lease out. That'd be kind of.
I want a commercial strip, dude, so bad.
I want like a warehouse.
Yeah.
With a good industrial company in there on a triple net.
Are you out of curiosity? Is this commission based paid career that we have? Is that your only source of income at the moment?
I mean, I have investments like in stocks and stuff.
Yeah. But you're not getting like monthly stuff coming in from that. That's going back into that account. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes all back into it. Yeah, I live off of my commission.
Okay, perfect. Cool. And that's kind of the same thing I'm looking at too. I don't want to be solely dependent on this because the chase is exhausting. It's a constant chase of like, am I being annoying? I know I'm not, right? But I'm also like, I don't want to chase all the time. And I see agents that have been doing this, they're in their 50s and 60s and they're still doing it because they.
Well, I think of it this way too. If you go back and look at all your closed deals, I'll be like, okay, referral, friend, referral, friend. So a lot of my business, I could have literally sat back and done nothing, and I couldn't have helped but got that business. So I sit here and like chase. Mentally, I'm chasing, but really it's following me.
Yeah.
Like,
and everything you're doing is you're just staying relevant, staying in people's ear.
It feels like a chase, but it's really not, if that makes sense.
No, it's almost like a reverse, like you're working backwards.
If you look at it as like, what is it? Ominous positivity. Like, I can't help that. Like, it's too late. Everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing I can do. Everything's going to be fine, and there's nothing I can do about it. That's almost how you should look at it.
No, you're absolutely right. Because, I mean, even losing deals and going through all this and doing and some back to Ricky Carruth, if you're not losing deals, you're not busy enough.
100%.
And I was like, oh man, I used to freak out about losing deals all the time, right? Like things happened and it was the end of the world and I'm going back to the plant and all this other stuff. But the more and more, there's only certain things that we can do as agents, and there's a lot of things that are out of our control. And him reminding me that you're gonna lose deals just makes it that much easier for me to get through this business. It teaches you something, and like you said, you get up every day and you just know that it's always gonna work itself out. It's been pretty I guess like my lifesaver thing. Just get up, try to meet new people, try to put new information out there, prospect, and then just have fun with it, man. Like it's gonna work itself out. A lot of prayer, bro. A lot of prayer.
Bro, I was gonna say the one thing that definitely between the market last year and having a kid, my relationship with God has like totally been rejuvenated, and it's helped me so much because like I have this prayer that I always say that it's like I just ask for the opportunity. I'm not asking for the closing. I'm not asking for anything more than an opportunity. And thank you for the opportunity. So if I have the opportunity, who knows where that can lead? But that's all I can really ask for. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's all out of my control.
That's the kind of the same thing with these marketing videos that I've been doing. Like I'll go over there and do them for free, and I pretty much just let them know like no one works for free. And so selfishly, the only thing I want is an opportunity. Just give me the interview. Like just put my name in the hat. Like if it works, great. If it doesn't, cool. Like I thoroughly enjoy your shop. Like,
I used to be such a control, and my nature is to be a control freak, but when you give that up and just realize like what's going to happen is what's going to happen. Everything up to this point has worked out. It's been fine. Even though I've had all these existential crisis moments where I thought, I don't even know what I thought was going to happen. Like you just get through it. You don't even remember it even. Think about this. What happened in the year 2021? Go.
Man, I don't know, dude.
You don't even know the whole year.
Yeah.
So like you live this day to day, like freaking out about little stuff. And it's like, I don't even know what happened that whole year.
Somebody told me something, and I think it was I mean, I listened to a podcast about it, and I want to say it was probably that Ryan Serhant dude. He was like, go 30 days out on your calendar, like 30 days out, and put what your biggest stress is right now.
You won't give a shit by then.
Yeah, by the time it's there, it's gone. You're gonna be like, oh shit, and so just that, like you said, it always works itself out. It does, and so that's just a reminder to one, do the work, right? Because you're not gonna get around doing the work. There's no way you get around growing this business without doing some of the boring work. Like it's just part of it.
If it was all fun and easy, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be rich.
Yeah.
So it's like I always say, you're paid in accordance to the pain you're willing to tolerate. A lot of times.
I like that. Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
Now, that's not always true. You know,
it's like it kind of goes back to like the faith thing, right? It's like prayer without work is dead. I mean, like I've sat and prayed for work and it never showed up.
I had a deal here recently where I watched a guy I know buy a property for what I thought was a little too much. And then 3 months later turned around and sold it to a buyer who was a big company and made, dude, like several years worth of salary on this one deal. And my thought was like, okay, he didn't hop on his grind and wake up at 4 a.m. every day and like take ice baths and work super hard. He just bought a property, took the risk on it, and then went about his life. A buyer came in, bought it from him, and he made a ton of money. So it was like, okay, that's not like a hard work, grind, work ethic thing. It was, he just
right place, right time type of deal.
Had the balls to do it.
That's a lot of this is putting, and that's the same thing with like what I'm trying to do, man, is just, it's not even really about real estate. For me, honestly, I just get up and I just want to like put myself in challenging.
Be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's me too.
Put myself in challenging situations, put myself in environments that test me to further develop and see how I'm going to respond. It really isn't anything about real estate more so than it is to see how far I can go, right? And so the more and more I learn about myself through psychology, through studying these podcasts, self-development, experience, being honest with myself, and just choosing to try to do better, man. And all that's just based sort of on faith, right? Like what's the righteous way to do this, right? Like, would I want this done to me this way? Would I handle things this way? And it's not even really anything about real estate, man. It's really just that's the tool, and the byproduct is I get money by helping people.
Beautiful. All right, brother, I got to wrap this up. Thanks for coming.
Hell yeah,
we'll do it again next year or another 6 months or something. Where can people follow you on social media?
Just Instagram, man. It's my name. It's at Fernando Chavira, and you can go search your page or whatever for it. But between me and Blaker, we can definitely take care of your real estate needs.
Boom. Love it. All right. Bye, everybody.